So before we get into this next segment, I just want to specify that this is just a rumor and has not been confirmed by any high-tier MLB reporters, but it has been a blazing hot topic. We'll do diligence here. Now, according to Robert Murray of the Baseball Insiders podcast and reporter Hector Gomez, the Mets are showing heavy interest in slugging outfielder/DH Jorge Soler, among other teams such as the Red Sox and Blue Jays. A source also confirmed that Soler will be seeking a multi-year deal with at least 3 years guaranteed, where the Blue Jays are publicly willing to pursue that said term, and an impression was given that Boston could get outbid for Soler, with the Mets' interest level fairly unknown. The free agent outfielder has also been linked to the Diamondbacks and Mariners, who are reportedly also looking to add a bat to their starting lineup. Jorge Soler is 31 years old and coming off another career year in Miami, where he slashed .250, .341, .512, with a 126 weighted runs created plus, smashing 36 homers across 580 plate appearances. Along with being a penciled-in 30 home run bat when healthy, Soler also has a monstrous postseason career, an all-time 1,021 OPS across 87 plate appearances as a former multi-World Series champion with the Cubs in 2016 and the Braves in 2021. Mets president of baseball operations David Stearns went on John Heyman's podcast and spoke on regarding the DH position. Stearns established that the Mets will continue to explore all areas of their team to make it better, and they will not close the door on anything regarding the offense, but they need to make sure that they give their younger players some space to play. Over the offseason, the Mets have also been linked to other DH options such as JD Martinez and Justin Turner, both perennial veteran offensive stalwarts and coming off of career years in 2023. Current internal options for the Mets at DH include graduated prospect Mark Vientos and DJ Stewart, who was brought back earlier this offseason and contains team control through 2027.
Jorge Soler is a perfect fit for this New York Mets team. I mean, this guy, he checks all the boxes that you need to be checked. Great against left-handed pitching. Prolific power bat. Consistent power bat. I mean, this is a guy that, ever since 2019 with the juice ball era, him and Pete Alonso were kind of battling it out at one point for the National League lead. I mean, not National League, but, just in all of baseball, because Soler was hovering around 50 home runs that year. This is a guy that, last year gives you 36 home runs in 137 games, doing it in non-easy ballpark in Miami. He's played also with the Braves, did well in the postseason, so he's got that going for him. And just being in National League East this past couple of years, that's always a plus. He also has played plenty of time in right field, not even just left field, also some right field. So, 31 years old, going around 32, so still basically in his prime. He just gives you everything that you could possibly want. And for me, it's like I said before, if I have a budget and I have to prioritize guys and things like that, he's someone I would have prioritized. If it was like, okay, Teoscar wanted to be a Dodger or whatever, I would have prioritized this guy. And even if he had to get a multi-year deal, 2 years, 3 years, that's fine by me, because the way I look at it, especially even with the uncertainty of Alonso, where else is the power coming from? I mean, that's really ultimately what it comes down to. Like we said, I mean, we've had the DH since 2020. The Mets have to be probably the worst in all baseball, I would think, since it's been history. They got to be one of the worst, I would think.
One of the worst,
as far as just pure production. Fix it already, you know what I mean? And again, it's like, okay, even if Marte goes down or something, at least Soler could play the outfield every now and then, and even give Marte some days off so he stays throughout the course of the season. Like we talked about with the six-man rotation, just trying to be able to keep your players on the field. I think giving Marte some days of rest, giving Nimmo some days of rest, even having them DH while Soler gets a start or two, not in a massive game, in a playoff game or anything like that, but just having that option, I think, would also just be so beneficial for this team that it's just crazy to me that here's a guy who is a perfect fit for your team, is not going to cost anything astronomical, yet I don't think they're going to get him. I get the sense that they kind of are focused on getting the relievers, maybe another back-end starting rotation piece. I mean, that's just the sense I get based off the way they've approached this offseason. I just think that even though he's a great fit, I don't see them doing it.
I think that the Mets are interested, but I don't think that they are the favorite to get him, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that this report is bullshit. It's a player that the Mets have not been linked to, but you've just expected them to be linked to eventually. And I think that's what's kind of going on here, rather than the Mets actually just full on pursuing him. because we don't know what they're willing to do in terms of the DH position. Like if they, get a DH on a 1-year deal, like a veteran of a JD Martinez or Justin Turner or something like that, that might be a little bit more possible. But I would love for this to be true. Also had some random guy yesterday, I think we were talking about this, just say that the Mets were close to a deal with Jorge Soler, and nobody has confirmed that whatsoever. Like, and for those of you who see these reports out here, like for those of you who do these reports, I just want to say, you got to stop doing this. Like, just stop doing it. Like, it's just tired. It's a tired bit. Like, we get it. Everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants to do that. But it's like, unless you have actual information and can confirm like contract details and different types of things that are other things, I don't need to see Soler and the Mets are close to a deal. Like, give me a little bit more than that. I need to know a little bit more of that information to know that if you're legit or not. Here's the thing. I'm okay with the Mets taking a step back this offseason. I've already established that. But if they want a DH, if they want to address the DH position, from what I have seen for the last 5 years of how it has been around Pete Alonso, carrying this offense for 5 years, don't establish a limit on this. If you want a DH, go get your DH. Go get one of the best available, because this has been a problem no matter what. If they don't want to pursue a DH as heavily as they should, don't even bother. Give your playing time to Mark Vientos. Give your playing time to DJ Stewart. I don't even care, to be honest. The only way that they go at the DH position, in my opinion, should be all in. It should be all in. After what you have seen with Alonso for the last 5 years, just go full force at a DH. I'm fine with a guy like Jorge Soler. Like, go after Jorge Soler. If you need to give him a multi-year deal to get that done, get that done. Go after JD Martinez if you want to get JD Martinez. Justin Turner, I'm even fine with. I'm okay if they don't want to prioritize it, because that's what my expectation is. But if they want a DH, get a freaking DH. Don't get me a Daniel Vogelbach. Don't get me a Darren Ruff. Don't do a reunion with Dom Smith. Don't do that crap. Okay? Give me a legitimate DH to protect Alonso. If you don't want to do that, if you're not showing the big willingness to do that, don't even fucking bother. Don't bother at all. If they want to build a competitive lineup, Harrison Bader ain't going to do that. Joey Wendell ain't going to do that. I even tweeted this out because, all we can do is imagine with this. The top of this lineup, we already know it's probably going to be top heavy this year again. I have it as Nimmo in left field, because he's probably going to play more left field. Alvarez at catcher batting second. Lindor batting third at shortstop. Pete Alonso at first base. And then you have Jorge Soler at DH. Perfect top 5, in my opinion. And then you have the rest of the fucking misfits. Who gives a shit? But you need somebody past Pete Alonso. 30 home run power threats, and Alvarez, who could possibly do that in a full season. Lindor was 30 home runs. Most likely it will be like 25 next year. Pete Alonso is Pete Alonso. You have 240 home run power threats at the top of this lineup. I need somebody past Pete Alonso that's not Jeff McNeil batting fifth, and it's not just 3 hitters pulling the weight.
With Soler, before he signed his contract with the Marlins a couple of years ago, that's someone that you really wanted the Mets to get even that season at that time. And I think that after that, he opted out of the deal because he played so well. The fact that he's still such a high priority for the Mets just shows how long this has been going on of it being a problem. So it's like you had your opportunity a couple years ago, you didn't do it, and it's like he's here again, and you still need him. You know what I mean? And like this is one of those very few times where this happens, and it's not a guy who's like 39 years old and like, oh, he's finally available again, but now he's 39. Like at least he's still 31, and you have another opportunity to get him. So again, it's like it's right there. As far as the lineup, I agree with you. However, I believe
Alvarez should be batting 9th.
No, well, not that. I think Starling Marte is going to bat second again. I get the feeling they're going to go with the veteran. It's where he wants to bat. They're going to put Marte second. And then I still get the sense that they're going to start it off with, unless they add somebody, I still think McNeil is going to bat after Alonso. I think that, while I think they should do something different, I think Alonso should be batting second, first of all. I think it should be Nimmo, Alonso, then Lindor. If you had Soler, JD, whatever, they go there. But if not, you have to do Alvarez. And then, like you said, just figure out the rest of those guys, whoever just playing well at that point. because again, with Beatty and Bader, who knows? And then Vientos, it's a pure hope. And then Marte, health, McNeil, again, hopefully bounce back. So like, there's just so many question marks with those other guys. Again, I think there are other ways to construct this lineup, but that's how I think they're going to do it. I just feel like it's just the sense I get. It's what they've done. I don't see it changing. I just think that ego is a thing. You know what I mean? Like, they paid Marte a good amount of money. They're batting him second or somewhere near the top. I mean, that's just ultimately what they're going to end up doing. I think the same thing goes for Jeff McNeil. This is a guy that has tenure now. They gave him the extension, the all-star, the batting tout, things like that. He's going to be somewhere in that top half. Like, whether we agree with it or not is probably what they're going to end up doing. And again, I want to see them approach differently. But they cannot have Alvarez bat 9th or 8th or anything like that again. That's absolute. You can't do that. That's just insane. With the lineup that you have. Like, if you had a great lineup, sure, put him in the bottom. Take the pressure off the rookie, off the catcher. Fine. But your lineup is so bad that he's actually one of the best hitters. So he needs to be towards the top. Like, so again, there's other ways that they should do it, but I think ultimately that's how they're going to. And again, that's why it is so important that they actually get another established power bat. So it gives them even more flexibility, and it's more viable if you want to try these, veteran, 10-year contract, all this other stuff.
I will say that if McNeil is batting after Alonso, the worst power hitter in the entire lineup, by far, you're asking to lose. You are actually asking to lose. Like, I understand. Listen, if you want to protect a power hitter with a batting champion, first of all, go fuck yourself. But second of all, you just can't look at this lineup and just say, yeah, Jeff McNeil, after this top 4, he's the next best hitter, and I'm going to put him after Alonso. Like, I personally don't care what they're making or what they're doing. Again, like, I've looked at Marte as a non-factor for a long time, but I can't imagine just having a recipe for success where you have the worst power hitter behind Alonso.
I'm going to ask you some questions. Who's a better hitter, Jeff McNeil or Harrison Bader?
Bader. Better quality of contact, pulls fly balls, doesn't scream at himself.
Ultimately, Harrison Bader is giving you a WRC plus that you love under 100, below average overall offensive production. When it comes
with the shift going away, I haven't really liked WRC plus as much as you think I have, but Jeff McNeil's got to be in the bottom third if you're going to have any chance.
Next one. Would you rather you like Jeff McNeil more, or do you like Brett Beatty?
I like Mark Vientos more.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's a different position. I'm talking about third base right now.
With how they've structured it in this lineup, the DH has to be fit. Like, it has to be. Like, how they've structured it with like all these lower tier lineup guys like freaking Bader and Marte. Like, the best case scenario is the DH batting 5th. Like, as you're looking at it, if Mark Vientos is Mark Vientos, again, I would love to get a freaking DH bat like Jorge Soler, but the best case scenario, it has to be Vientos batting behind Pete Alonso. Like, that's the best case scenario if they don't get a DH. I'd love to.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, like, if we're under again, I don't think they're going to add a DH. So let's say they don't. The question is Vientos batting after Alonso? Is Alvarez batting after Alonso? That's really what it comes. Or do they end up doing McNeil again? Like, that's really what it comes down to.
It's so stupid. Like, to me, like, thinking of a DH as a luxury, like, that's just dumb after what you've seen for the last 5 years.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but then also saying that, okay, well, we can just do a full 180 and just be like, okay, we're not going to get protected for Alonso. Let's put the worst power hitter behind him to protect him. Like, it's just like a full 180. Like, you don't understand what course they'd be on if they don't get a DH. If you want to protect him with freaking Justin Turner or JD Martinez, like, I'm fine with that. It's just like, if I see Jeff McNeil protecting Pete Alonso again, I'm jumping off a bridge. That means that they have absolutely learned nothing. Like, they have learned absolutely nothing for the last 5 fucking years that you've seen with Pete Alonso carrying this entire goddamn offense. Like, I don't give a shit about Jeff McNeil's batting titles. I don't care about his all-star selection. I don't care about any of that. They cannot bat him after Pete Alonso. Like, that is there's some other guys they can't put behind Alonso. But how you see this lineup, I'd rather literally just give it to Mark Vientos to bat 5th behind Alonso than anybody else on this fucking lineup. I much prefer Alvarez in front of Alonso. Like I just prefer it like that way.
Well, if you put Alvarez in front of Alonso, where would you put him?
I'd put Alvarez too. Batting second to me is like the low on base guy that gets a lot of extra base hits, that swings the damn bat when your leadoff hitter gets on.
Well, what we've seen is that a lot of cases, this second hitter is the best hitter. I mean, that's where Aaron Judge bats. That's where,
Yeah, of course.
occasionally Mike Trout is bat. Like, every team has a different philosophy, and
Sure.
there's two things that are a problem here. Number one, Davis has never had a stacked lineup with a bunch of power hitters,
Yeah, that's the
base
thing.
guys, wherever,
course.
that you get to see how he stacks lineups. Number two, Carlos Mendoza's never been a major league manager, so you don't know his trends either. So I think you have two unknowns as far as this kind of team, what they're going to do with it. So until they, again, assuming they don't add anybody, we'll see what they actually do. But I would not be shocked if they did do what they did before of Marte second and McNeil fifth, and then Alvarez, God knows where. Like right behind.
If I had it my way, Jeff McNeil's lucky to be on the fucking lineup. Like, the guy just has zero power. Like, he's irrelevant to me.
Well, you're replacing him with Joey Wendell, who has even less power. So
you have so many 9-hole hitters here that, like, I don't need a 9-hole hitter protecting Alonso. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, if McNeil, again, I say this all the goddamn time, if McNeil was the leadoff hitter, if he was leading off, he would be perfect. But you spent $162 million for a guy to do that. So it just makes McNeil so irrelevant. The job would go to Ronnie Mauricio, in my opinion, at second base if he was actually healthy, but he's not. I say McNeil sucks because I hate his hitting profile, and I don't think it's going to get any better. To this lineup, he's not valuable. To every other lineup, maybe he is valuable. And for some reason, he's being valued so much that you see him batting fifth behind Pete Alonso. It's just stupid. Like, it's...
Well, I think it's a combination of they value him because of his past accolades and things. But again, like we said, there's so many guys who just aren't that great and not proven that who are you really gonna go above? You know, and again, like realistically, with the way Beatty has performed, they had to send him to the minor leagues again last year because he was that awful. And to me, again, Bader, first of all, needs to be healthy, and number two, I just don't think he's all that good. So again, there's also the combination of the other options aren't that great, where they don't have any other like proven power sources, consistent power sources outside of, like we said, it's very top heavy.
You put somebody in that batting fifth position, it makes the lineup so goddamn better. They're seeing that as a luxury. For some reason, it looks to me that they think that Vientos is good enough power protection for Pete.
That's the thing that's so annoying about Vientos is that he has great pure power. Like, he has that. Like, Mark Vientos is a power hitter in the sense that, like, he can hit a bunch of home runs, he can get the ball far, but like he hasn't done the major league level yet. And
he hasn't
that's
done
why
it consistently.
it's like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's why, again, I feel like he can do it, but I don't love this idea of, okay, we fully trust him and we fully trust Brett Beatty. That's the thing that bothers me the most, is that they have full trust in both of them, where I'm like,
right now they have a top four, a bunch of prospects and noodles. That's it. Like, that's all you have.
That's ultimately what it comes down to. Yeah.
That's literally what you're looking at. You just have a bunch of pool noodles, hit the ball 60 miles an hour, Jeff McNeil. Then you have a bunch of prospects that are unproven. And then you have the top of the lineup, which, you got star power there that Stearns has never dealt with before. They need to fill the 5-hole. They need to fill that 5-hole right now. And I'm okay if they want to go with Mark Vientos if they don't get a DH. But it's like, you can't have the worst fucking power hitter protecting Alonso. Who is intimidated by Jeff McNeil? No one. No one is intimidated. Like, there is no... He has less intimidation than Daniel Vogelbach. Get me a deal, because how they pretty much kind of catty cornered this team, bringing in Harrison Bader, kind of betting on Marte bouncing back. There's not really many holes to really fill except the DH position and except the guy who's batting fifth. Like, if they want to put a power hitter behind Alonso and then McNeil sixth, sure, I don't care. Do I prefer McNeil to just be gone? Yes. But if you put him sixth, fine. I'm not putting Brett Beatty over Jeff McNeil, as stupid as I don't like Jeff McNeil. I'm not putting Beatty over him. I'm not putting Bader over him.
That's the point I was making before, is that is that by default he's gonna
They need to sandwich
by
somebody in between Alonso and McNeil. They have to do that because you're literally asking to lose by putting the worst power hitter to power protect Pete Alonso.
So that was my main point I was getting to, is that these other guys, like, it's not happening. If Viento struggles again, and then what do they do? Like, because again, he hasn't done it yet. Like, if he
DJ
struggles,
Stewart, like that's the thing.
and like
It's
again,
like it's
the
ridiculous.
fact that
I
they're
know.
relying on a guy
They
who
need
had,
to
like,
get
a
it back
one,
here. They need to do it.
yeah, you're relying on a guy who had, like, a 1 month, hoorah, and then went back to cold. Like, seriously, a journeyman? Like, this is what we're like this now. This was protecting Pete Alonso. Like, come on.